just to go back a little bit to speak about the Boots and Crawford fight.
Yeah.
How do you actually see that fight happening? Because this basically off what we hear and what we see, the pedigree of those guys being gym rats, students of the game. They're very similar in as far as the switching up, and both of them have crazy power.
Yeah.
How do you see that fight potentially going if they were to fight?
I mean, to be honest, it's an unpredictable situation because you're getting two of the best of what they do. You know what I mean? Boots to me is a lot sharper, but Crawford to me is a little bit more meaner.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like you get those two guys, everybody hearing about them, but they ain't crossed each other yet. They ain't come across each other yet. It's really a mystery. You can't say one could beat the other. You can say, yeah, one's younger, one's older, but then you can say one has a lot more experience that the other one doesn't. That's what makes it a great fight, and that's why I really can't put a, answer on it fully on who I think will win, because I gotta respect the craft, and me respecting the craft is I gotta respect that both of those guys are two of the same. We talking about two guys that don't get high, they don't drink, you know what I'm saying, and they love to fight. So I just want to see it.
Yeah, me too. I think that fight will be, because if you think about what people was hyping up Spence and Crawford, and it didn't live up to the expectation or the hype. I mean, as far as the competitive edge of the fight,
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be a lot more competitive than that.
Yeah.
And then Crawford just came out and, it was like, man.
Yeah, the skill level was too high. But also, we got to be honest, Earl Spence is not Earl Spence anymore, the one we remember, because of the accident.
Yeah.
The accident, you know what I mean? People tried to be like, oh, he's back. Like, nah, there's no way you could be normal after that. You know what I mean? You're talking about fighting. So I always knew like that Crawford was a little bit better skill-wise, but then after the accident, I knew he definitely would get him. There's no way he was going to be normal after that.
Yeah. So another thing, I'm a little concerned too, like, as far as what they're saying that Spence is about to come back and fight Fundora in October. That's a tough fight, bro.
Yeah, big order. Yeah.
You want to come back and again, not saying that you can't win that fight, but you trying to come back and fight somebody like that.
Yeah. I mean, Earl Spence is at that point where he's made all the money he could make, but at the same time, I'm not going to tarnish my name by fighting a lesser opponent.
Okay.
I mean, I'm Earl Spence. I've been doing it big. We're going to continue to do it.
But is there something wrong with you got to take a step back and take a tune-up, man?
There's nothing wrong with it in my eyes, but because I believe in at least going to go test it out, at least go test out what you're working on, things like that. But he like, nah, I'm jumping right back in. So
yeah, you ain't got to go fight a cab driver, but you got to go. I don't know, but you can't. These fighters nowadays, and then he's not only jumping up to fight Fundora, he's actually possibly going to switch trainers.
Yeah, he's definitely switching.
So
trainers,
those two,
yeah,
that's a tall task, man.
And that's why I said you got to go try out the new guns you're working on right now. You got to go try them out first.
Yeah, you got to get somebody that's not saying you got to go, like I said, fight just a nobody, but you got to go and see if the chemistry with the coach is right. Everything. You jumping into a fight with they got to throw a lot of punches, man.
Right.
He's very tall. You know what I'm saying? Long arms.
Right.
He couldn't get past the jab that Crawford had, so you gotta get past that Fundora jab.
He gonna have to really overwork. He gonna have to put some extra work in.
Yeah, so we'll see. So what do you think with that fight? How do you think?
I mean, Earl gotta really jump on him. You gotta really jump on him. You can't give him too much time to think, and you can't give him too much time to get comfortable.
Yeah,
you know I mean, you gotta really just jump on him and make it a war right away, because you can't. It's no way you can fight a guy 6'6", 6'7". And make it a clean fight.
Yeah,
too big. You know what I mean? Height wise, he's too big. It's gonna be sloppy. It's gonna be ugly. But if Earl jump on him early, he can get the win. But if Fundora get comfortable in there, he might pick Earl.
Fundora's tough.
Quality over compromise, not a brand, it's a lifestyle. Holla me. Shout out to Holloman. quality over compromise. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Fundora's tough.
Yeah.
So speaking about, I know you spoke about Wilder. Do you think Wilder should retire now?
Yeah, me, honestly, I think he should. I don't like to say that, but I think he should, only because, you know what I mean, we talking about the heavyweight division. These guys is 300 pounds now. That's a lot of pressure on the punch. You know what I mean? That could kill you.
Yeah, he been knocked out. He been stopped. Like, that's a lot of wear and tear.
Yeah, it's getting ugly. So I wouldn't want to see him go through that no more.
Because the punch didn't even like he really hit him. I think
it touched him though. It grazed him, but that's all it takes sometimes. But that's what I'm saying. Those gloves, they not like big gloves. You gonna feel it. You gonna feel it.
He was talking to the ref almost like it's similar to like with Zab Judah.
Yeah.
When he got knocked down, but he was looking for the ref. So is that something like, I've never been a professional boxer or never been like knocked out.
Yeah.
But when you get hit. Is that something that you kind of like, you feel it right away? It kind of like throw off your equilibrium and everything and how you looking like.
I mean, I've been hit before and went like, my hearing went, I couldn't even hear it for a few, probably like 20 seconds. What people don't understand is how delicate your brain is. Even though your brain is protected by your skull, your brain is very delicate. So when you get hit with a shot, you might even forget where you at. I mean, that's never happened to me, but I've seen it. You know what I mean? And I've been hit so hard in the spar that, everything blacked out for a second. You know what I mean? I look up, I'm like, oh, that was a good shot. Like, you know what I mean? You hear like an actual pop, like go off in your head. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a lot of damage being taken, and people don't respect that part. So they see him getting grazed with a shot, and they like, but if you've seen it caught him like in his nose, you know what I'm saying? And you getting hit by a heavyweight. You know what I mean? So it was a lot on that shot, and it was enough to distract him, and then he got caught with another hook, and that was it.
Yeah, man, like boxing is a brutal sport. Yeah. And Wilder was known, like that's how he made his name. He was knocking everybody out, man. And then it's just his last few fights, man. It just seemed like he hasn't been himself. And the one thing that I noticed with him, he kind of stuck to keeping the trainer that he had.
Yeah.
Malik Scott. Yeah,
him and Malik is cool. That's why. Malik keep him cool, keep him relaxed. I think that's the relationship. But people try to blame his current fights on Malik, but what he's done and who he is, he's going to be that. It was no adjusting anything. You know what I mean? He's a grown man. He's 38 years old. He's 38 years old. It's not too much you could change.
He's 38 now.
Yeah, it's not too much you could change with him.
He kind of like past his prime. So it's like now maybe it might be a good idea to possibly, I don't know. I can't tell. Like I said, I can't tell someone to retire, but really look at it and see, because you start too many knockouts, man. Yeah. And then you're getting up in age. So we'll see what happens with Wilder. So another fight, we got another Philly fighter, who's fighting AB and Blair Cobbs. This fight here is, these guys are very, very comical. So how do you see this fight ending? What do you think is going to happen with this fight? I
mean, Blair is very energetic, very awkward, fast hands. He does a lot of things wrong, but it works for him. Yeah. But again, on the other hand, Broner sharp. Pretty strong, but the wear and tear he put on his body may affect him tonight in that fight. You know what I mean? He might not be able to, step on the gas the way he want to. Yeah. Because of the age, because of the abuse on the body, things like that. But I put it in a 50-50 perspective because Broner has been in bigger fights.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So he knows the moment. He's not worried about that. But Blair is like a kid. Even though he's in his 30s, he's like a kid because he hasn't had a whole lot of fights. He hasn't been beat on. He's been stopped once, but he hasn't been beat on enough to where he's completely slowed down. So honestly, I think Blair might edge it. He might edge it. If Broner don't knock him out, he might edge the fight.
Yeah, I remember seeing, I said, I trained at the Shula gym just, for recreational purposes, but I should see Blair Cobbs there all the time. This was like 06, I think, maybe 06, 07. he used to always be in the gym all the time. Like he's and he used to be training with Buster.
Yeah.
And I was just surprised to see him one day on TV. Like I'm like because I didn't know. I think he moved to California or so, and then he got on. So I'm like, man, wow. And then I was happy to see him. But for like I said, for me, you never know what you gonna get with Broner. You don't know because Broner he start not throwing punches and he start relying on that check left hook and straight right hand. And once he can't get that, it seems like he stop punching.
Yeah. So to me, it depends on his health level and the type of shape that he's in. I mean, he made weight. He came in at 146 pounds. He did look drained a little bit, but after eating and everything, rehydrating, you never know.
Should be cool.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens with that fight. Shout out to on both of them. All right, so we got something else. We got another fight coming up. Which is a big fight. Possibly they call him the face of boxing. Mm-hmm. Tank Davis and Frank Martin. Yeah. And, that fight. How do you see that fight playing out? What do you think is going to happen there?
I love this fight because Frank is a no nonsense type of dude. You know what I mean? He wanna fight. Yeah. But Tank always edge these dudes with the excitement and the power. You know what I mean? People. Me personally, I think part of getting knocked out is believing you couldn't be knocked out. Like if you think this guy hit hard enough to knock you out, he will. You know what I mean? You're giving him too much respect. I think Frank is not going to give him too much respect, but I think he might get reckless in the point where he will get caught. You know what I mean, with a shot, and it might be the type of shot that hurt him or put him out. But I think it's not going to happen till late. You know what I mean? But last night I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Tank know this guy can fight. Yeah. Tank going to try to jump on him. I think Tank going to jump on him.
Then he'll come forward more so back.
The reason I think that is because in all the fights we've seen, Tank always take his time. Yeah. Break you down. But I'm like, we ain't never seen him really jump on nobody. And then Frank think he got him down pat. So right when you think you got somebody down pat, they always got to switch it up.
He come out on 10 already from round one.
So that's what I'm thinking. I just thought about that last night. I said, I think Tank going to come out there and try to hurt him in the first round. Yeah. Try to really get him going. Now, the reason I think that too, even if he don't knock him out in the first round, if he pick up the pace a little too high for him and then bring it back down, that's going to mess with Frank Martin's heart rate. You know what I mean? For his heart rate to go that high in the first round and they have to bring it back down, that's going to kind of drive him crazy because at the end of the day, he hasn't been in there with anybody like Tank. You know what I mean? Tank to me, isn't the most dangerous man in the world, but he one of them. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he can definitely hurt you. But Frank been in there with some good opponents, but this is his first time seeing a Tank Davis. Yeah. So it's more pressure on Frank than it is Tank.
There was something that was said that, Frank started boxing late. Yeah. Does that make a difference for like a fighter like Tank who's been boxing since he was 5, 6 years old? No. And then someone started boxing at 13. So
here's the difference, right? A kid who's been starting since he was like 6 years old, a little kid, what happens is things come to him more naturally. Like, you know what I mean, some of the moves he make. Yeah. A guy who start late, he might be missing some of the tricks of the trade, but his mentality can get him through. When you start as a teenager, to me, that's not late because you got your mind made up. You know what you want to do. Okay. A kid, most of the time, has been forced into it. You know what I'm saying? So for a kid that's been starting boxing since they was 6, 7 years old, one thing they can have is wear and tear. He's been around a long time, been getting his head a long time. You know what I mean? A guy who's 17, 18 starting, he could be a little more fresh. You know what I mean? And he got his mind together. So to me, it really don't make a difference. It just looked that way because the stories that we look at, like the Mayweather stories, the Ali stories, things like that. They've been boxing since they was kids, but that's not everybody's story.
Okay, so that doesn't. It's not really a concern.
Yeah, Bernard really didn't even have too many amateur fights. You know what I mean? He didn't have a whole lot of amateur fights, but coming out of jail, you know what I mean, turn pro, lose his first fight, chill for 2 years and just train, get down and weight. I mean, he go on like a 25-fight win streak, then end up in the ring with Roy Jones. Lose to Roy, then do it again, go on like another 17-fight win streak. You know what I'm saying? And he started late, and then ended late. He was in his 50s when he stopped. Yeah. So everybody's story is different.
So just to kind of roll back, this episode of TBISE is brought to you by Mecca Care LLC. Mecca Care LLC, giving you an abundance of what you need. They're a home care agency located in the Philadelphia area, Montgomery County, Chester County, Bucks County, and Philadelphia County. As I mentioned, if you're looking to get home care services for your loved one, call 215-644-8341. That's 215-644-8341. And it's Mecca Care LLC, located at 5025 Germantown Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 1944. If you're looking for home care services for your loved one, contact Mecca Care LLC, giving you an abundance of what you need. It's 215-644-8341. That's 215-644-8341. With Tank, I think you guys was in camp with him for what fight was that?
When he was fighting Ryan Garcia.
Okay, I guess they probably brought y'all in because of the height with Brill or.
Well, really, I'm gonna be honest, man. I saw the setup they had. They really needed somebody to try to knock out, and they thought Brill was gonna be that guy.
Really?
Yeah, I was paying attention to the sparring partners, and I was watching how he was sparring the other guys. He wasn't trying to get them. He was trying to get us. Then he was doing the majority of the rounds with us. You know what I mean? Like, he'll do two. It was these two brothers. Like, I don't want to say they Mexican, but they might be Mexican. It's these two brothers. They both like 5'11". They tall, 6 foot, something like that. So he'll spar one of them, and he like half-ass really throw at him. He wasn't really trying to get him. He was just feinting at him, stuff like that. But then he get in there with Brill. He throwing like his best shit. So I'm like, Brill, listen, you know they trying to clip us in here. They trying to send us out of here. You know what I mean? Brill do the 6 rounds with him, and then he do 2 more with the other brother. It's the same way. So I said, Brill, they brought us out here to be a target dog, bro. They trying to get rid of us. He was like, damn, G, you think that? I said, yeah. I said, watch tomorrow. And it was so crazy because I said, tomorrow what they're going to try to do is they're going to try to act like they're shortening up the rounds, but they're going to push us the same way. So the next day we come in, Calvin like, yo, we going to do 2, 2, and 2. I said, bro, I looked at Bro, I said, listen, this a world-class camp. Ain't no way you about to do 2 rounds with each person and just call it that at 135 pounds. I said, he's not doing that, bro. I said, he gonna do 2 with the boy. I said, he gonna do 2 with you, and then he gonna ask for the rest of the rounds. So right after he did his 2, Tank say, yo, I like him, keep him in the ring. I said, didn't I tell you that? So we did 4 more with him, so he did 6, then he did another 2 with the other brother. It was the same way. So after that sparring session, I asked this white dude that he got with him named Lauren or something. He was like, yo, I'm gonna call you and let you know when they're gonna spar. I said, well, how y'all know when he's sparring again? So y'all gonna just have us sitting out here. So it wasn't like we was dealing with Calvin and Kenny. We was dealing with like a coordinator, a camp coordinator. To me, it was his manager, but he didn't like when I called him his manager, but he is manager. Mm-hmm. So I was like, well, when the next time they're gonna spar? He was like, I don't know, I'm gonna call you. So I'm like, that's weird. So I'm like, all right, so we sitting in a hotel. I'm like, matter of fact, bro, we good. I seen enough, we out. So he like, you ready? You sure, G? I'm like, yeah, we gonna roll. Maybe we gonna get up out of here. We don't need, what else we need from these dudes? So when I called him, the dude got mad. But I'm like, yo, how can you be mad? You got us sitting in a hotel in Vegas, and you telling us you don't know when the next time we get in the ring. And we not training at the gym when y'all training. You know what I'm saying? We only going to the gym to spar. So with the trainers is on us. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But we nowhere near of a gym. You know what I mean? We got a gym in the hotel, but that's not a boxing gym. Yeah. So we got up out of there. You know what I mean? They got our flights and we got up out of there.
How does that work? Like, how does that work? Do they, when you go to a camp, now they pay for your hotel, they pay for
Yeah, they pay for all that. But it's a relationship thing too, though. They're not gonna have us, cause it was crazy. Cause Tank was like, "Yo, where y'all staying at?" We was like, I forgot the hotel. We was right off the strip though, in the cut. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, we in the hotel down the joint. The hotel was all right. He was like, y'all want to go running with us? And then, but they kind of like pulled him away. But it wasn't Calvin and Kenny. He got this other boy be with him, this tall boy that used to be with Broner, 6'9" or something like that. Yeah, something like that they call him. So they kind of was like pulling him away as he was talking to us. And I'm like, yo, that's weird. Like, I mean, this whole setup weird.
So Tank actually was trying to be hospitable. He was trying to be cool. Like, yo, you can run with us.
Tank, listen, I don't care what nobody say. Humble dude, cool dude. Young boy, he not on that crazy. Like, how he be acting, that's like, I'm not saying he not like that, but I'm just saying he understand how he got to act. He act like a man. He do what he supposed to do. Yeah. He came in there, he shook everybody's hand, looked everybody in their eye. You know what I mean? He ain't act weird. He ain't say nothing weird. He got ready. They worked, and that was that. He wasn't on no funny stuff. He wasn't talking crazy. He wasn't treating nobody funny. You know what I mean? It wasn't none of that going on. He was chilling.
So basically, he was trying to build, like, yo, you come around with us, come train with us, whatever.
Yeah, because in a traditional camp, you want your sparring partner to be right too, because he gonna push you.
Exactly.
But they kind of had us like, so I'm like, yo, I ain't the smartest man in the world, but I ain't dumb neither. I'm like, nah, this like they trying to treat us like a target dog. I'm like, we ain't going like that. We ain't doing that. We out.
So based off your experience, would you ever go back and do a camp with Tank again, or something that you would?
I would, but the thing is, it got to be different circumstances, and I don't want to deal with that white boy. That ain't feel too good.
Okay.
I ain't like how he was dealing.
So speaking on Tank a little more, now if he's to be successful against Frank Martin, he's been being called out by Shakur.
Yeah.
Do you think that fight happens?
I think that fight will happen. From what I'm hearing is this might be Shakur's last fight with Top Rank.
Yeah.
So I think right after that it'll be something perfect. So maybe next year, summer next year, I think that fight can happen.
Who wins that fight? Why?
Man, that's gonna be like ultimate chess match, because you got one of them that's super skilled and the other one's super dangerous. And what happens is somebody gonna have to be off that night for the other one to win. So somebody's gonna have to expose something. You know what I mean? I can say Tank, but then Shakur is that good of a boxer. Yeah. It's like I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? He is physically strong. He might not be the biggest puncher, but he's physically strong to be able to keep Tank off him for a little bit. But then again, we seen how Shakur act when he in there with a puncher.
Yeah,
so I'm like, I don't know. I'm 60-40 Tank.
That's what I'm saying. I was thinking about that as well. I said Shakur probably really would have to bite down to really, like, he would have to get real grimy to really kind of in the later rounds to kind of win the fight. I think that's where the fight will be won, and like probably from like 8 to 12 is where it's gonna probably get real serious for them guys. Where it'll turn to a real live fight. And I don't know if he probably would. I'm just saying, Tank putting that pressure with that power. We'll have to see how Shakur holds up with that fight. Yeah,
Shakur can beat him, but Shakur has to be perfect to beat him. Got to be on point all the way through. You can't lack at any point.